Welcome to Bourbon Beards and Belvederes. I'm Jerry,
And I'm Paul.
and Adam is out again tonight with some family stuff, but me and Paul have it going, and we have a we have a guest with us today. Our first guest of the new season. Our first guest with this new call-in feature. So kind of excited and nervous of how this call-in feature is going to go with it, especially with some of the one of the guests that we've had in the past kind of just took over, or not guest, call-in took over our episode. Raul, we're talking to you. Um, but with us today, we have John from Colt Americano by Small Batch Beer Co. How you doing today?
Pretty good. How about you guys?
Doing pretty well. And actually, down here in Florida, it's actually a nice day. It's 90 degrees, but it's not humid or nothing. It's warm, but I'm not sweating my ass off out here. So doing real well. And you're over in Alabama. How's the weather over there?
It's a nice day. I think it's probably mid 80s, low 80s, and had a little rain, a little humidity, but other than that, it's nice. I mean, we're in North Alabama here in Huntsville, so pretty good weather.
So to start out, do you want to give us a little rundown of who you are and how the brand came to start, or how the brand started?
Sure. Well, back in 2017, I was, of course, working for the government on here in Huntsville with on Red Star Arsenal as a quality assurance specialist for ammunitions and explosives. I ended up getting injured during the job and had to medically retire. And once I did that, I didn't have anything to do, so I decided to grow me a beard. I hadn't been able to have one because I had to be clean shaven for my job. Gas masks and different things we had to use all the time. So finally I had the luxury of doing it. So I started growing it, and I have real sensitive skin. So I started having problems and breakouts and bad itches and stuff going on, eczema, just the whole 9 yards. I bought a few different beard oils, but some of them either didn't help or made it worse. So I finally had to start diving down into the books a little bit and figure out what I need to use, and started making my own trial and error. Just keep on using, try to stay non-codomogenic so I could do the best I could for my own skin. And finally, I got it right for me. And some other veteran friends and stuff asked me what I was using. My skin looked better and everything, so I started giving them some samples of what I made, and for several years it just coasted along with that. I started selling some just local here in Huntsville, giving some away, selling some, and then here it's a little over a year now. They talked me into finally going online, and I said, well, I'll give it a try, and here we are today. We probably had, I don't know, 24 to 30, somewhere between 24 to 30 different versions of our beard oil in some form or fashion, up through today.
Yeah. So seems like you're always testing and changing it to better it. Sounds like.
Yeah. As we've gotten more out there, yeah, we've definitely listened to our clientele, and there's no one size fit all. So we've done what we can to try to be as universal for everyone as possible with our three different versions. One version being the one that's just what I call our universal for anyone that's, say, up to about 40 years old, who's still got pigmentation in their hair, still got fairly decent skin, sebum production is still good. You don't have a lot of gray in your beard. So that would be our standard biomimetic formula. And then, yep. And then at that point, if you're getting into more of a gray beard, we've got what we call a silver reserve. And that one has finally evolved into having a little bit of emu in it. So there's a little bit of emu in that one, and there's a little more emollients and stuff that favors a coarser, non-pigmented beard that needs just more help, more nourishment. And then now we've got one more that even goes further than that for people who's got super coarse, super dry, or damaged skin, which has a liquid beef tallow added. So we've done our best to kind of cover the gamut from newbie into the beard world, where you just need something to keep it looking good, to gray beard, to somebody who's got real problems and it's coarse and dry, and so we've done everything we can in our power, and we consistently, as technology and different ingredients come to fruition to us, we keep on moving the needle on what we can, how we can make it better, if we can make it better.
And then the others, one of the other products you have is the where did it just go? The architecture fluid. Yeah,
The architectural fluid is unique to the industry as far as I know. I don't know anybody who makes a architecture fluid that's it's basically a liquid balm with no wax. So the beeswax and stuff that people normally use is not there. So you don't have to worry about wax buildup in the beard. It uses Brisca copolymer is what we use, and that right there replaces up to about a medium hold for a traditional balm, but in a liquid version.
Yeah, I remember. Obviously, this has the small batch name on it versus the new Colt Americana, which we could talk about here in a few minutes. But I remember when I was picking this one up, I originally saw this, the architecture fluid. I think you had something else back then. I think it got rebranded to the liquid butter, I think. And I remember I was looking, and it sounded like a interesting product, because over the last, I don't know, about a year, I've found liquid butters, and being here in Florida with all the South in general, with the humidity and everything, some of the balms, and not a lot, but some of the butters seem to weigh it down and make it feel heavy. And I've noticed that the liquid butters seem to do fantastic, at least for me down here. So when I was looking at that and saw all those, definitely interested in those. Do you want to walk us through your carrier oil blend? This was one of the things I definitely wanted to touch on, because we're one. A lot of people know that we're all about like the easy to say kind of the typical oils, and then you got some like hemisqualane, squalane is in some oils, but then you also have some other stuff in there. And I'll say I've been using this for 2 weeks now straight. And at first it scared the shit out of me, because if you look, it still looks full.
Yeah.
And I realized that it pumps from the bottom. And I was like, I've been using this. It's never ending. And I realized, which, by the way, this bottle's pretty sweet. And it's great. I didn't put any on today, and it feels like I did. Like, it's still moisturized. It's still nice and feels clean. The skin underneath it feels great. So I just wanted to throw that out. But yeah, the ingredients were definitely some of the, like, I don't think we've used one with rice lipids in it yet, and a few other stuff. So can you walk us through how you came about this carrier blend?
Yeah, well, it all comes to me having super sensitive skin, and some of it before I entered the military, I already had sensitive skin anyway. But being around the oil fires and the burn pits during the Gulf War created some more challenges with my skin. I brought back a even more sensitive skin because of those just stuff we had to use over there, different injections and pills that we know have, had some adverse effects. And then of course the particulates in the air that nobody knows what really all was in the air around in all the areas we were at. So I've definitely had some exacerbated skin problems even past what it normally was. So I had to have a beard oil that was skin first, because I tried other beard oils and it just, jojoba and, almost everything out there's jojoba, argan, castor, you go the gamut of what everybody's using, almond oil, stuff like that. And it just didn't do the trick. So like I said, I had to look at very light oils, non-clogging, non-cotomogenic, stuff that I knew that was also not only good for the beard hair, but mostly good and safe for the skin. So the squalene, hemisqualene, that gives your biomimetic. It kind of mimics the sebum and everything within your skin. That's just think of sebum as the mortar between your cells that kind of holds everything together. Uh, you got to look at how the moisture, everything staying in your skin and in your hair follicle. So you look at the sugar cane, the squalene, hemisqualene, uh, metafoam, of course, is next. Sabaki. I mean, I can't. We would sit here all day, every day, going through every one of these, but each one is purpose driven. There's some overlap, but very little overlap. It's nothing's really redundant in there. I mean, everything has its. There's a biomimetic portion, there's a protective portion, there's a skin only portion. So the main thing, when we divert from traditional, we're talking about the Brisca copalmer, the silk hydroslate, the phyto oil C3, the alpha bisbolol, uh, and of course some people use vitamin E, some don't. But those are the main ones. When you start looking at it, that's more the stuff for the skin. Some of it coats the hair, like the Brisca oil copalmer. That's going to kind of seal the hair, coat it, give it a little thickness to it, protection. Uh, the silk hydroslate softens the hair follicle. The phyto oil C3, basically, that really mimics the repair of your skin. So think of that phyto oil C3 is a definite repair oil. It goes in there. It's got properties of it that's very healing. So as you utilize it, it's a cumulative effect. So the more you use it, the better it works. The whole formula. So if you use it for 7 or 8 days, it's a cumulative effect. 10 days, 20 days, 30 days out, it should be healing your skin. You should have less itch, less dryness. Less moisture loss from your skin and hair follicle. And I know that kind of goes against tradition because a lot of people say, well, you need to change up viscosities and you need to change up different blends. But I find that in the way I look at it in the science that I've looked into, I find that not to be true. And I know a lot of people are going to say no. I know Dan C and a lot of those will say you need to switch the game up. But I found that if you have a oil that is for the skin and for the hair, and it works to repair the skin and hair, you don't really need to change anything. Just change unscented or scented, because my oil's for the long game, and it's a system. So you've got the oil during the day, architectural fluid during the day if you need a balm. Then you've got the liquid beard butter, which is mostly should be used at night, just to really lock the moisture in the hair and make it super soft the next morning. So it's a cycle. I mean, and if you think about it, you're getting the different viscosities and everything through the system. So you really don't need to change. If you like my system, you can stay on it 30 years as long as I'm still around. But it's not. It's only going to get better as you use it. I can just put it simple.
Yeah, like I said, I've been using it on and off since I don't remember how long ago, but when we initially started talking on Instagram and whatnot. And then over the last, like I said, probably about 2 weeks, I've been using it nonstop, getting ready for this, just kind of see. And like I said, I didn't put any on today, and it still has almost like that silky feel to it.
Yeah.
Kind of like you put it on earlier today. Obviously the scent's not there, but
Yeah.
the skin's been feeling real great for at least the last week or so. I don't typically have like itchy skin anymore just because we're always using oils and whatnot. But and I've learned how to take care of this over the last, what have we been doing this 3 years now, versus just random oils off the shelf, which we had that mistake, episode like 6, something like that. We tried some bullshit that completely destroyed all three of us. So we've kind of done research. But yeah, it's been working real well. I would have gotten Paul and Adam some samples, but when I try to twist this off, the top just keeps twisting. And I couldn't get any pulled out of here. So, and then I like the aquatic scents. This is the Trident. I don't think you, I don't know if you've rebranded that one, but I don't remember seeing it. Maybe I just didn't see it right. I like the aquatic scents. This one has a nice, like, almost like barbershop style aquatic scent to it. Has a little, to me, it has like a little bit of like a powdery aquatic sort of deal without going like cologne scent. But yeah, it's been working real well over the last however long I've been using it. And these bottles, these little airless pump bottles, are pretty sweet too. Unfortunately, it doesn't fit on the shelf that I have because the shelf I bought were for, I think it was like nail polish.
Yeah.
Which fits the 1 ounce bottles perfectly. This one's a little bit taller, so it's got to sit up top, which is where I usually have all my combs and stuff. So it's got a place up top. But it's it definitely catches the eye on the shelf of just dropper tops and whatnot.
So, yeah. Once we got into that biomimetic formula where it really got in there and was working great for skin skin barrier repair, along with doing what it does for the actual beard hair. We kind of outgrew dropper bottles, and we wanted to make sure that if we wanted it in the best environment away from contamination as we could. So it was the only way we could go was go to the vacuum pump bottles. And that besides the formula itself, the biggest and best thing we did was go to those bottles.
Yeah, it's definitely something to get used to when you're used to droppers or the little like swap out when you got the little pump there. Yep. But after a little while, just like the dropper tops, you get used to how much you put in your hand, and when you see it sitting there, you know exactly what it is.
Approximately four pumps is a dropper. It's basically 0.21 mils per pump. So if you're so basically almost a quarter of a, which covers everybody. You quarter, half, 3/4 full, and on up as your beer gets bigger or you need more product.
And then I remember, and I'm looking at it right now. I'm looking at your website, smallbatchbeardco.com. I like how you have it organized, like the aquatic collection, the barbershop collection, the barrel society collection. So, and inside each one of those, you got what, 5+ scents on each one. It seems like.
Yeah, there's scents. I was going to ask you to talk about how you get to your scent profiles, and if you just think of something and add it in, because you got.
That was one of the reasons why
scents at least right now.
Yeah, we what I do is basically everything that's built there right now is basically something from childhood. If you look at especially tobacco scents, I've been in crop tobacco and everything when I was young. Been around tobacco barns all my life. I grew up in South Georgia on a big working farm, so a lot of stuff like back roads down in Florida and stuff. So there's a lot of stuff. You look, you'll see like scents like Hurricane Watch, I think there's one Midnight or Lost in the Keys, and others that some of the best scents that I've got now. I mean, we were trying to. It's hard to try to give something for everybody. Mm-hmm. So I figured at one time we had nearly 250, 300 scents, and then I had to figure a way to rebrand because I was steadily making scents for everybody else, and that's why we did the custom. If you want something I don't have, all you got to do is explain it, define it to me like a scent profile or what you want. We can build it custom, basically within 2 or 3 days, and get it out to you. But that's why Cold America came to as the vision of what Small Batch Beard Co. really is. When you squeeze it down, it's Southern Americana's type scents, kudzu cowboy. That's back when I was a young boy, and my dad and some of the older men would go to the fence rows and telephone poles and pull down the kudzu vine, chop the kudzu vine if they couldn't mow it, pull it up and burn it in the evenings, and they'd sit there and have maybe smoking some cigars or some cigarettes, drinking a little whiskey or bourbon, and the smell of the leather gloves with the vines, the kind of resinous green smell. So almost everything is story driven from a lot of my life as a child and into a young adult.
Yeah, I like that. You have in the descriptions, you have the name of the scent, and then the scent story, and then the scent profile. So it kind of gives you like a little, what was in your mind or when you're trying to create this scent and this profile, and then breaks down exactly what you're going to get as the the end user of the purchaser of the oil and of the exact scent notes, which is kind of cool. Because I've been on some where they just give there's some whiskey brands that are famous for this too, where they give you this crazy scent story, but you're like, that's awesome. What the hell does it taste like, or what does it smell like though? Because you got to give me the profile too. Like the story was really cool, but I can maybe pick 2 or 3 things out of there that you were trying to point me in that direction, but I want to know what it smells like or what whiskey tastes like before I go ahead and make the purchase. So I like that you break that out to give a story, to put somebody in that mind frame that you were in, I guess, when you were thinking about making these scents.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, sometimes some of these scents I use some of these scents and someone bring a tear to my eye because I remember my granddad or my grandmother or my dad and it's just stuff it pulls heartstrings for me. And I'm sure if some of the people that's lived some of the portions of my style of life or in the South, or even the United States wide, I think you can appreciate somebody giving you something from their life and putting it out there and saying, here's a scent that represents something that's meaningful. Whether it's meaningful on a national level, or just a southern level, or I think people can connect with that.
Yeah, no, I think, like I said, with the stories, that kind of puts you in the mindset. I've been reading through some of them as we've been talking, and there's a lot of them where like you can almost, smell it in your head, because the scent story kind of puts you in the place of where that scent was coming from. So very cool, very cool. What about this Monday giveaways? I see that popping up in a couple different spots on your website.
That's what that is that's a way of us to give back to the community, as far as like I look at it like bring a little joy to somebody every Monday. We put up a free beard oil every Monday, and first come, first serve. You may be having a bad day. You come on and you're looking around, and lo and behold, boom, you were the first one to see the Monday giveaway. And you pick it, and then you just tell me which scent you want. We send it, no strings attached. It's free, and you don't have to buy anything. You don't have to pay shipping, which we do free shipping anyway, but there's no strings attached. You don't have to buy from us because, I'm a disabled veteran as well, and I suffer from PTSD and different things, and I know how I know the lows and highs of life, and I think giving back is needed. If you're going to be, if you're going to live here on this earth, you need to give back some too. Don't just always take.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, when I originally bought this, I was going to buy Adam and Paul one too, but when I was looking through all the scents, because I know kind of what their profile. Adam likes the vanilla tobacco. Paul is kind of like a citrusy. I don't know. Paul's all over the place with his scents, but I feel like typically it's like a citrusy, fresh style scent, maybe some foodie scents or whatever. And I was like, all right. And I see all like, oh, here's the tobacco scents. I clicked it. There was like 5 or 6, and I was like, I don't know which one he would want. Like, I'll just see if he wants to grab one. Or, and I remember back then when it was branded as small batch, you had like a wild turkey one or something like that, if I remember correctly, and stuff like that. And I was like, well, all 3 of us love wild turkey, so that'd be a fun one to have on here, especially being partially a whiskey podcast. But I'm looking now, and Paul, did you see the River Rye scent?
Yeah.
The rye whiskey, cedar leather, pipe tobacco, black tea, oak moss, and vetiver.
That's one of the ones earmarked. I like that one. I saw that one, and the peach moonshine caught my eye so far from my cart.
Yeah, they're
Yeah, it's I was torn because, like I say, like I was telling you earlier before we even came on here, I'm also from the craft beer and craft bourbon and stuff side of things, and me and my son had a business called Death and Taxes here in Huntsville, Alabama, up until COVID ended up putting us out of business, and we had nearly 50 beers, 50 craft beers on tap, as well as two walls of bourbon and different whiskeys. Almost probably close to 200 of those, and I love whiskeys. I love craft beers, tequilas, you name the game. So it's doing the whiskey renditions and some of the other different renditions of drinks. I've got one that's going to be a Southern Gin Fizz. I've got sitting in my little area over here, just sitting here letting it sit for about 2 weeks before I start getting it up on site. But I've probably got 6 or 7 new ones to add that are just sitting there for 2 weeks to let them marinate and get all rounded out and a good scent profile before we start putting it in oil.
So what's your method? I mean, you pretty much said a lot of these are from your past, your childhood, things like that. The scents. When somebody recommends a scent or you think of a new one, you just go and just kind of wing it and then trial and error, like, oh, it needs a little bit more of this, it needs a little bit more.
We start playing with it. I mean, I have it's kind of a perfume program, because we build like perfumers or fragrance enthusiasts. We build more like somebody crafting a fine perfume in a lot of ways. We use quite a few raws from the perfume industry, as well as some fragrance oils and EOs. So we're kind of a hybrid between, expensive stuff used by like Louis Vuitton and people like that use some of the finer ingredients on the base, and then we've got some completed fragrance oils and stuff that we add in there that we know, like if we want cut grass, or we have a fragrance oil that's cut grass, but we may need to have it expand more, project more. So we'll use like a fine fragrance like Hedion, or if we need it to last longer, if it's burning out too quick, we'll use like Ambroxan or something to give it more base notes, more of a woody amber character.
Mm-hmm.
So in the dry down, you may start losing some of that grass, but it flows into an amber. So your mind can play tricks on you, like it's still there, even though the green grass, the fresh cut grass is gone. Your mind is still reminiscing, because there's still a scent there that it just rolls into.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we play with stuff like that, and we use some fragrance oils. Like I say, if somebody wants a whiskey, we'll get like bourbon sandalwood, we'll get like a bourbon accord or a cognac accord, and put that. But then we have to play with the percentages, and then once we get the percentages right, then we need to figure out, okay, how can we make it last? How can we make it project? And that's where, once we get it dialed in, then we'll make like 120 mils of it, of just a bulk fragrance, and there I'll let sit for at least a week, sometimes 2. It depends on what type of blend it is.
Mm-hmm.
But at least a good 7 to 8 days before we'll touch it, shaking it daily. Some of them go up to 2 weeks. I've had some go a full 4 weeks if we're doing some barrel aged stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like right now, our blend is actually barrel aged on oak spirals, toasted oak, to give it more natural depth in just the oil itself. And we do that for several weeks to get that to infuse into it.
That's interesting. I don't think we've heard anything like that before.
No, I don't think so. Yeah, that's interesting.
It's not something normally do, because it being small batch, you can do it, but if you're a big boy, it would be, I don't know how you would do it, because like I say, I make 400, 500 grams at a time. I take one of those. I take an 8-inch oak spiral and break it in 2 and put it down in the mix, and I'll spin it up every day and let it sit. And it, like I say, for so many weeks we do that. So we got to make sure we stay ahead of ourselves so we don't run out. So at least every I've got one coming off basically every 14, 15 days now. So
Nice. Yeah, that's one thing that we've noticed with smaller companies, not only with beer companies, but in the whiskey and cigar game, is these small companies, they have obviously a smaller budget than these major brands. But that being said, they can spend the money on these smaller quantity tobaccos or weird grains, like our buddy Ryan with Fire and Flask. He does a purple corn whiskey. I don't know. I don't think we know anyone else that's done. And it's like there's other companies that have kind of messed around with it, but that's his thing.
yeah,
And then you have like Haze Gray cigars and a few other, like their last two releases have had like these what was it there Irmãos de Mar had like Zimbabwe tobacco in it, stuff like that, stuff that these big guys they can get, but you're only gonna do a couple thousand cigars and they're producing tens of thousands of cigars and not 10,000. Like they're producing like 10, 50 times more, so you can't really keep it sustainable. And we all have our favorite like big name. Like one of my favorite big name companies is Maker's Mark. Paul's is Jim Beam, but you get some of these smaller companies like ASW out of Georgia or Chattanooga. They're messing around with 100% malted grains and some random stuff, and the big guys aren't going to do it just because. First off, they don't have to. They don't got to be innovative. They've already have a huge following. So these small companies are they definitely are some of our favorites just because of the random experimental type deals. And it's
I know. I was watching this one bourbon show where the guy was at a distillery, and one of the guys had aged. He had aged his bourbon on an A10 Wagyu steak, and I think he only had two good sized barrels of it that was produced, and they said it was phenomenal, and that the guy was trying to buy one of the barrels off of him. But the smaller companies that you know that you can really be very esoteric on what you do and make some really cool stuff. And it's not sustainable for the big boys, and that's great because I don't know if there is a market big enough for the big boys to worry about a A10 Wagyu steak infused or rested bourbon, you know. So these cool little things that are out there, I think it's great, and small batch has its niche, and I never want to be big. I want to be small. I want to be where I can put my hands on every bottle, or my grandson or whoever comes after me. I want them to maintain and maintain the highest quality, keep good pricing so it's affordable, and just put out a product that none of these other big boys can touch.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the main thing is quality products at a good price. And the smaller guys seem to be doing it better than the bigger guys nowadays, which is fine by me. But talking about whiskey and stuff, obviously we're kind of a whiskey partly podcast. What's your like go-to whiskey or style whiskey?
I'm more of a sweet bourbon, so I'm probably like if I just got sitting over here, I've got some Larceny, I've got some Buffalo Trace, Four Roses. So nothing really truly small batch. Well, it's small batch for them, you know. It's some of their harder to get stuff. I'll go and do God, what's that one I always try to get, but it's hard to get around here. Huntsville is so dang expensive for good bourbon or liquor in general. Blanton's, I do Blanton's when I can find it.
Yeah. Are you guys an ABC state?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah. That's Paul. Well, Paul's right nearby Virginia. They're an ABC state. I don't think Baltimore's not, right? Are they?
No, Maryland's not. Well, there's
Or
one
Maryland.
county in Maryland that's ABC, which is weird. Out of the 13 counties that make up Maryland, only one of them is, which doesn't make any sense. But no, we're a museum case behind the shelf state, marking up everything that anyone wants state. So hard to find all the tater bottles around me, but luckily, like we talked about before, most of the stuff I go for nowadays is small batch and smaller brands and things like that anyway, because a lot of times they got better stuff in the bottle than the big boys do, and not as many people know about it, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you want any true small batch stuff, I mean, you're pretty much going to have to travel and go get it. I mean, you're either going to go to Tennessee or.
Yeah, that small batch name or label is more or less a gimmick.
Yeah.
When I did a tour and a pick at Makers, they don't have it on their labels, but they consider them small batch, and I think they're like 300 or 400 barrels per batch, which for them is
that's small. Yeah.
But then you have companies that'll put small batch on it, and it'll be 1,000 barrels.
Yeah.
But then like Chattanooga whiskey, their experimentals come out at, what was that, 8 barrels or something like that, Paul? That last one we were drinking, like 7 or 8 barrels. Like, to me, and their rickhouse is not, well, at least their experimental one isn't that big. So 8 barrels in that thing is like a tenth of that whole warehouse, it seems like. So yeah, that small batch name is definitely, or label is definitely just a gimme or whatever you want to call it. But I was honestly surprised that Makers said they only use a few hundred barrels. I was like, oh shit, like your brick houses are like 1,000 stories high, it looks like. Using a portion of them. So that was kind of cool to find out. But like I said, some companies have thousands of barrels in a small batch, which makes no sense to me.
It's like the only real, well, I think we got Black Patch here, but Irons One is a very small batch operation, mom and pop type deal here in Huntsville, and he makes pretty good bourbon, and it's truly small batch. I mean, they run out, and then they going to kind of have to wait a little bit, and they are in the ABC, but like I said, it's not always readily available, but it's pretty good bourbon.
I think they're South Alabama. Isn't Detling Alabama?
Detling, I was just going to say, Detling is making some of the best whiskey.
And they're legit small batch. I think he's using like 1 or 2 barrels, it seems like.
They're more South Alabama.
Yeah, they're definitely South Alabama, and
if you can find
they're making some of the best whiskey though right now. I mean, grab that if you can. Anything they're making is been fantastic. So that's definitely one that you should be able to find from that state, even though it's a little bit farther south.
Yeah, I've tried a few things. They've been great. But anyways, getting back to the beer stuff, since that's why you're here. So with all these scent profiles that you got, like we said, like 5+ per collection, how hard is it to kind of like keep track of it and make sure that the scents aren't overlapping too much with each other? Like I got the tobacco scent or collection up, and you got tobacco oud, cherry tobacco, Kentucky bourbon, vanilla, weathered woods. That's the black leaf, and then the broadleaf is tobacco honey. Obviously, a little different, but how hard is it to keep those similar but yet different enough to keep both, or I guess 5 different scent collections?
Well, a lot of this perfume software that we use is tied in with a little bit tied in with AI. So AI helps a little bit as far as it can tell you how close or overlapping. Like you'll say, okay, this overlaps so many percent, and what I try to do is I keep where nothing overlaps more than about 15%. Most of it I try to keep it from overlapping at all. But when you talk about tobacco scents, you can only go so far. I mean, the only difference between, because you've got cherry tobacco, Then you've got pipe tobacco. Unless you're buying leaves, you only got 3 or 4 different tobaccos or an accords that you can actually make and mix and match with subtle differences. Uh, so the only other way to do it is by adding vanilla or leather or different accords to make it run the way you want to. Because I'm not sitting here and buying tobacco leaves from different places and actually extracting the accord myself. So I have to rely on 3 or 4 accords. So yeah, I mean we're using perfumery software as well as some AI to help us make sure we're not overlapping too much. I mean, there's good sense they have to throw out the window all the time because it just overlaps. I mean, there's no need to have multiple tobaccos that at the end of the day you're gonna say, well, that smells kind of like I want it to. Yeah, it may have remnants of, but the black leaf fermentum, the broadleaf, the dark leaf absolute are totally different. I mean, they sit in different shells. Um, then you talk about the vanillas and tobaccos and stuff like that, and they sit maybe more vanilla than actually tobacco. So then maybe some tobacco and oud, but it runs more oud. So you got the different classifications of there may be multiple things across the board that has tobacco in them, but if you want tobacco, you need to look in the tobacco collection. Now that doesn't mean that you won't find tobacco in a barber shop or tobacco even in an aquatic. Sometimes you may find a little bit of tobacco, but inherently it will be whatever that classification is. It'll be more aquatic or more green or more green herbaceous. It'd be more vanilla, more boozy. But yeah, you will have some sense that you smell across different collections, but inherently it tells a different story. It sits on a different shelf, and it could be something that you wouldn't mind having and using. One day, this one the next day, because even though you smell some of the stuff you like in it, it's telling that different story in beard. It unfolds and dries down differently.
Yeah, that's I've been scrolling through all the different collections, and like I said earlier, a lot of them are very similar, but at the same time they got very different scents. Like obviously the tobacco ones all have some sort of tobacco, but then you got the honey one, the cherry tobacco, light tobacco, stuff like that. And I'm looking through the aquatic scents right now. You have some that are like citrusy, some that are like the coconut and bay rum style, cashmere. So yeah, it's impressive how. Obviously, I haven't smelt all these, but I would imagine they smell fairly similar to what these are. Because I don't remember exactly what this Trident scent was, but I remember it being pretty damn spot on.
That Trident was more of a deep, more of a deeper, darker water.
Yeah, like I said, it has like that nice heavy aquatic, but also for me, I get like a little bit of like that powdery, like barbershop scent to it, which for a long time barbershops had my heart. I couldn't get enough of them, and then started getting aquatic scents, and this one being at least for me, a little combination of both of them has been fantastic. Is there a certain collection that's harder to get right than the other? Like is tobacco versus like a dark fruit, or do you pretty much have it dialed in so far?
No, with the software and stuff that we've got, I mean, it's pretty easy to dial it in. You've got to decide. You got to decide your path forward. Because there's so much you can do. I mean, you name anything. Think about it. You can go anywhere from grass to flat to floral to dark floral to aquatic to boozy to gourmand, which is more the sweeter cake and ice cream and stuff. And I mean, you can go anywhere and everywhere. You can go dry. You can go thunderstorm. In a bottle. You can do anything and everything. So the hardest part is dialing into what your mindset is, your path forward, and sticking to it, because you'll smell something and maybe you'll get off the path some. You'll think, oh, I could do this too, but you need to set that aside for a different time. Maybe write it down and stay on path. That's the hardest thing to do, is because my mind's running all the time, every day, about somebody will say something about a sin, or I'll be talking to somebody and it brings back old memory, and I need to do that, or write, and I'll write it down. And but yeah, just staying on track and try doing one thing at a time. But I keep a list of scents that I'm working on, and like before I came on here, I sat in there and mixed up one that I've been working on a while, and finally got it resting. And that's just what it is. I mean, you want to keep it new, and some scents within a year or two will be retired. We're always trying to keep it new and inventive. The stuff that we think are timeless, we keep on the site. Stuff that are just a one-hit wonder, and it's more of a now type thing. Like, yeah, everybody wants cherry right now. Everybody wants oud's big, of course. Fruits are big, right now, because it's summertime. So I mean, you kind of blend for the seasons, and then you blend for the off seasons, and you kind of got to stay ahead of the curve, and then see what everybody's buying as far as the top 100 parfums or perfumes and stuff, unisex stuff, and kind of see how everybody's going, because that's kind of how that's also part of it. You got some of those guys that want those cologne type scents, and even though ours are not cologne dupes per se, I mean, we do have like some Lost Cherry Accord and stuff like that we use to build other scents. So you can do that for people, and that's why I said, I can't do everything for everybody. Never will be able to, because some things I just don't like and I don't build. I don't care for lavender too much. I don't really care for patchouli very much.
Right there.
So that custom is there for them to bring to life whatever they want. I mean, that's and it doesn't cost them any more. We're not charging them extra to build a scent. So if you can't find something, if you like our blend, but you can't find something you don't want unscented, then it's there for you to utilize.
So is there a what's your go-to scent style, like your profile, like if you're for yourself?
For me, 9 times out of 10, because I'm dealing with the scents all the time, since I've started doing it more is business related, I'm mostly unscented to give my olfactory senses a rest, because I'm dealing with scents all day, every day, and testing out scents. So if I try to wear a scent and do that, I'll go nose blind. So 9 times out of 10, you'll find me with a unscented beard oil on.
What was your if you were to pick a scented profile, what would it be?
Barbershop or oud based, or barbershop. And that's really the two. Well, the 3 biggest is barbershop, oud, and tobacco. I mean, that's really the 3 biggest in the market. So any of those, really. I mean, I like tobacco, but I like more of the darker stuff if I'm looking at tobacco or oud, and I like more of a little bit of fruitier but non-powdery with a darker dry down on a barbershop.
And you kind of touched about it a minute ago. So do you really see a change in order for the different seasons, or is it just?
Yeah, and people will stay away from. A lot of people stay away from the ouds and the heavier scents, the darker scents after spring. So when you get into the hotter months, you're seeing a lot of the lighter fruits, the aquatics, more like, you won't see stuff like like the oud woods, and anything that's like, if it's fruit now, like I say, the blood orange oud or something like that. I've got people who still buy stuff like that, but say the Americana oud, they'll stay more away from that because it's a heavier scent. Yeah. The fruit lightens that oud up a little bit, so you're not don't feel suffocated by those heavier base notes.
I'm definitely one of those. Summertime, I'm that brighter citrusy style aquatic scent, kind of like this Trident is a little bit darker, but it works for summer. Barbershops, citrus scent, stuff like that. Wintertime, I like, or if you want to call winter down here in the South, but like the fall, winter, I like spiced apple style scents.
Yeah.
Darker oud scents, darker oud, aquatic scents, stuff like that. And so like my little collection is like now all the summer scents it's right in this little area, and all the ones that I don't are further away, so it's easier to grab in the morning. I'm glad I'm not the only weird person that does that. Because I remember when I first started, I was a big fan of tobacco scents. I'm not too much anymore, and I was wearing that in the summer, and sometimes I'm like, this is weird. Like, it feels heavy. It's not heavy in the beard, but it feels heavy with the scent.
Yeah.
I'm sweating.
Yeah, when it's hot and humid, that's where it gets you. When it's hot and humid, those heavy notes they weigh down. Even though it's not a weight, it's not a heaviness. It is olfactory wise. Your brain registers that heavier base note, and it feels heavy.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just part of the game is staying ahead of the curve, and having those watermelon, like watermelon whiskey weekend, stuff like that still got a little kick to it and dries down darker, but the watermelon and the whiskey's not, whiskeys and bourbon stuff usually not too heavy unless you're really drowning them out with barrel notes and whiskey notes. But yeah, you have some fruit and stuff in there, apple, orange, citrus.
Yeah, we got
so that way that those spring and summer scents you kind of roll in, and then like I say, spring, fall, winter, people get back into those heavier scents or pumpkin scents or whatever you like.
The YouTube chat's going off, and Raul, the smoking tech, said pumpkin spice. He's definitely a basic bitch over there. So I just have to throw that out there. But do you have any pumpkin scents, or have you done any?
Yeah, I've made some customs for people. There was a guy here not too long ago, probably a month ago. He showed me I think it was Dr. Squatch had a soap that was pumpkin. I looked at it and looked at the profile, and then I basically emulated that profile into a beard oil for him. And he said he got it and said it was basically spot on. So yeah, it's not hard to do that stuff for people. If you've got a cut and dried, like I say, I'm not a pumpkin person. I don't. I mean, I can wear it, but I'm not. I'll drink some pumpkin beer and stuff like that, but I'm not going to usually put pumpkin on my face. It's just.
Yeah. I like some pumpkin beer. I really like. Some is terrible. Love pumpkin pie, pumpkin cookies, just pumpkin in general. But yeah, I'm right there with you. On the face, if I'm gonna go like that fall scent or whatever, like the Thanksgiving, Halloween style, I'm going apple.
Yeah, apple, pear, honey.
But yeah, I had to call out Raul there. He was the one that took over our show 2 weeks ago, and our show went from about an hour and a half, hour 45 to almost 3.5 hours because he got on here, he was drinking, and we had a good time, but I still give him shit for it. So yeah, we kind of touched on it earlier. You started out as small batch beard co, and you can now kind of transition to Colt Americano by small batch. You want to kind of explain what happened there and the reasoning behind that?
Yeah, from 2017 up until basically I came online, we had used a couple different little names, but the last name I had used for a while there was Beard Alchemy, and I just didn't think that really portrayed us. That was just something we threw there to have a name to put on a label and give it to friends and family, and and whatever. We even kind of went Beardaholics for a while, and different little names. But then when I was looking at domain names, I said, "What can we be?" And I said, I threw a lot of different names out to my wife, and I said, well, dang, I said, we're small batch, and I said small batch. So I went on the GoDaddy and I typed in small batch, and lo and behold, it was available. I don't know why it was available, but it was available, and I said, well, I'm going with Small Batch Beard Co. And that's where it came. But it's such a broad interpretation. I mean, it's definitely what we are, but we're more than just that. So I had to, once we stopped trying to be everything for everybody, and more get back to what I call roots. It was too broad of a name, and I felt like we needed something to kind of say what we're about. So the Cold Americana is where I had to finally keep going back in my mind, and I said, well, okay, I'm keeping Small Batch Beard Co. because that's what we are. We are a Small Batch Beard Co. But so smallbatchbeardco.com, and Cold Americana by Small Batch Beard Co. So that way you know what we're kind of blending, and how we're looking at scents, and then how we're doing it. We're doing it small batch.
Yeah, I don't really. I kind of do. Kind of remember the old website with small batch. This new one with Colt Americana, it's awesome with the old school car, the motel last stop, all that stuff, and then all the graphics with the oils and whatnot. It's a cool branding. I'll put it. It definitely catches your eye enough that I definitely use that your first banner with the last stop motel, no vacancy, as the cover for the live today, and a couple other graphics, because it's cool. You got the old school car, the lightning behind it, just has that small, like rustic, like Americana feel to it.
Well, it all comes from, like I say, my first car was a 1966 Mustang. I used to do a lot of trips and stuff. When I could, we'd take road trips and stuff. Stayed at a lot of small hotels. Put a lot of miles down through, out on Route 66, going out Midwest and everything across. We've been a little bit everywhere. Being in the military, and also having different jobs across the United States back in the day, and doing different things. I've put a lot of miles, and I just felt that Cold Americana, when I started looking at the scents and the way I wanted to blend, and how I wanted to do it, and the stories I wanted to tell, because I knew we wanted to tell stories with our scents. That was the most important thing, is telling a story, and pulling heartstrings and an emotional curve from the people, because, like I said, I can blend 500 cents, 1,000 cents, but would you rather have curated scents that mean something? And that's where I came to. I mean, that's I'd rather have something that means something to me. And if you want something different, you've got the custom there that you can do, and I'm glad to do whatever they want, as long as it's reasonable, and it's possible to do. I'm all for it. But for me, I think we need to find our path, and we found it, and I think we're doing all the right things. I think everything has fell in line like it's supposed to.
How has this, if you want to call it a rebranding, has that changed anything? Have you noticed any increase, decrease, or has keeping by small batch underneath it kind of helped keep it?
I mean, it helped with this. We kept most of our SEO and everything, so it didn't change much on the website numbers. So it did. It didn't change. It didn't change much on the SEO or traffic or who's buying. I mean, we've picked up a few little extra people here and there that kind of maybe, like, they're seeing some different names and stuff that maybe, like I said, pulling some little heartstrings and stuff, emotional ties. We've seen a little pickup in certain areas, but in the big picture, it hadn't had enough time, I think, for everything to procreate through the entire internet and to really have time enough to whether it's going to make a difference or not is, um, I think, word of mouth. And then here, I don't know when it's going to happen, but we sent off some samples to Dan C. So he'll be reviewing our stuff here between now and September. He hadn't gave us a definite time frame, but he's got it in hand. So we'll definitely, I think that will make the biggest push once he does that, as long as everything's positive.
What scents did you send him? Do you remember?
I kind of pulled a little bit from everything. I sent him Kudzu Cowboy. I sent him. Uh, I didn't do. I know some people know that he likes lighter EOs and he likes lighter scents, but I just told him, I said, look, I'm gonna send you what I think represents Cold Americana, and I know it's out of your wheelhouse, but I think you will appreciate somebody sending you something that represents the company, whether we cater to your style or not.
Yeah, we've talked, well, whether it's us or myself on my own, talked to a couple different companies that have sent him some oils or whatever to review on his little platform. Well, not little, big platform.
Yeah.
And some of them have catered to him with the lighter citrus style scents, and some of them basically said like you, like, I can do that and I'll send them one, but this scent is our go-to. This is our scent basically. And one thing about him is he might mention the scent. He might say, this isn't my profile, but he'll at least review the oil itself or the product itself for what it is, taking that scent profile out. And then at the end, he'll be like, hey, it's a darker oud, I don't like these, or it's a tobacco scent, I don't like this, or it is a citrus scent and I do love this, sort of deal. It doesn't make or break his review for the most part. Some people love him, some people don't. He's one of the guys that I used to watch, and I'll still click on some of his videos nowadays. When I was first, because I remember back when I first started growing a beard, it was just because I got lazy. I didn't want to clean it up or whatever. And then buddy's like, you got to try some oil, because I was like, man, it's itching, I got to shave it. He's like, try some oils, it's going to help it. So I kind of went down a little rabbit hole trying some stuff that you find at Target or Walmart. Some of them worked, most of them didn't. And I think I was trying to find a review of a product, and his stuff came up, and I started just went down a rabbit hole watching his stuff. And I can't remember which scent it was or which brand it was. It might have been like Badass Beard Co., one of like the bigger small batch companies.
Yeah.
And whatever company it was, he's like, he gave a good review. So I was like, I tried some. I was like, okay, like this actually works and it's feeling good. So then found some local companies here in Jacksonville or one company that I stuck with for a while until about right about when we started this, about 3 years ago, almost 4 years ago. They ended up just shutting up shop, but I used them for multiple years. And then we started this, and now, I don't know, we've tried probably almost 100 companies now, if not more. And some worked really well, some haven't. Like we talked about earlier, some scents worked out really well, some haven't. And personally, for me, yes, I want a scent, but as long as the oil's working, I could kind of get past that scent profile, knowing that it might only last 4 hours, maybe 8 hours. That's my wheelhouse. I like a 4 to 8 hours. Like, I want to put it in the morning, and then when I get home at night after work, I don't want to smell it anymore. I don't want to be smelling tobacco or something when I'm eating dinner or something.
Yeah.
There are companies out there that I'll wake up in the morning, take a shower, and get out, and I still smell it. Not that it's a bad thing. It's not what I want. So, tobacco
scents are kind of infamous on that. They like to hang around in beard.
Oh, these do too. Like there's been times where we'll sit out here, smoke a cigar or two, or sitting on a Discord. What do you call those? Video chats or whatever, or Zoom calls, and have 2-3 smokes out here, and then the next morning take like 3 showers and whatnot, and you still smell the damn stuff on you. It's just how it is. And I kind of appreciate how some of these tobacco scents work in that aspect. Like, it's stays true to the cigars and tobacco itself. But yeah, I don't want to smell it the next day. Which this one, the Trident, I think stayed around. I think about that 4 to 5 hours. It started dying down, and then definitely by that 6 hour mark, it was there. But you had to search for it, which is perfect for me. Like smell it in the morning or smell it when you put it on right before going out, and throughout the night or the day it just dies out, which to me that's perfect. I don't 8 hours up when I want to try it.
Yeah, if you're like if people are looking for that 4 to 6 8 hour in the citrus and the aquatics and some of the lighter scents, because they inherently, it's a lighter molecule, smaller molecule, dissipates quicker. The little bit of amber that might be left at the end is going to be negligible as far as being able to smell. You know, if you put your beard in your face or rub your hand, you might catch some remnants. But yeah, that's a good thing about those lighter molecules that, you know, if you're getting away from, if you're staying with barbershops and aquatics and different fruits and stuff like that. Yeah.
If I want to smell like a scent for longer, I'm just gonna. A lot of you guys are doing colognes or parfums or some kind of thing. I'll just buy some of that. Like I've done that with some companies. I'll put the oil on and it lasts 4, 5, 6 hours, and then if I want it to go longer, I'll just throw some of that spray on and still smell. Which I know not all companies do it, but to me that's a plus. Like if it's always nice to be able to have a spray that you could throw on yourself, a cologne or whatever that you could throw on yourself that's not gonna mess with the beard oil scent, because it's basically the same thing. So that moving forward, do you have any I see Paul, he had some questions, I see.
No, I was going to kind of get to that. Just kind of
do you have any?
What's upcoming? What's next? Anything you haven't really talked about to anybody that you'd like to talk about with us?
I mean, the only thing that's new and you know, the only thing really upcoming that's not out right now is just more scents, and that just goes as in towards we get to the end of summer and go into. So we're looking at more, a little heavier, boozier scents right now is what we've got sitting around. You know, more like creamy stuff, vanilla, the darker vanilla, like burning embers with charred vanilla, you know, stuff like that. Ouds, trying to think what else. But right now, the newest stuff we got, you know, is the two new blends, the revised silver reserve that has the ultra clear emu that we've added to it, and then the new heritage reserve, which has the beef tallow. So that's really the only new stuff. Then we've got a beard cleanser wash that's all oil based. So there's no, you don't have to have the preservatives and everything in it, and it feels like you've basically, once you come out of the shower with it, there's a surfactant in it, so it's water activated. So you put about a dime size, maybe a quarter size in your palm, make sure it's good and wet, beard's good and wet, rub it, it'll be kind of milky. And then when you put it on your beard, it activates and foams. It'll be more of a silky micro bubbles. So it lifts and gets rid of the dirt, oil, grime, you know, whatever may be in your beard. But when you rinse it out, some of that oil, which is the beard oil. So we just add surfactant to basically our base beard oil. So once you come out of the shower, you wash it out. You really don't need to put beard oil on your beard. You can if you want to, but a lot of people who's using it in the mornings, they'll re-oil at night. But a lot of them who like smaller beards like me, they'll just come out and say, I really don't need it, you know, unless they're in like super dry areas where you may need the oil a little bit. But that's only available on the, even though it's not unscented, it's available on the unscented side, and it's available on the custom, and you can just have whatever scent made into it. But it's I think it's about 4 ounces, but like I say, you only need maybe a dime size to a quarter, and even for big beards you don't need a whole lot. But it takes the place of a traditional shampoo and conditioner. So that's really the newest thing that's there.
Is that the no? What was that product called?
Deep, I think it's deep clean.
The deep clean beard.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Yeah,
I know it sounds like a when I say deep clean doesn't mean stripping. Deep clean just means it gets in there and it gets it clean, but it doesn't strip. Like I say, when you come out of the wash, you feel oil. I mean, like a light oil, like you've just put beard oil on, um, but it's clean. That's the best way. It's kind of it's weird. I know it's oxymoron to say wash your beard with oil, but
no, we've used some beard washes or whatever you want to call them that are more or less oil based. And at first, it definitely was a little weird getting used to when you're used to like the normal shampoo, like the cleaning aspect of it.
yeah,
But once you actually use it and you realize how well it actually works, it's kind of hard to go back to the other stuff that foams up and stuff. So those oil-based cleaners or washes or whatever you want to call it, I think those are right now my go-to style beard washes or whatever. And I know some people say don't wash your beard every day. Some people do. With these oil ones, I feel like you can because, like you said, it has the oil base to it.
yeah.
So it's almost like washing with an unscented oil or scented oil if you have scents to them.
Well, that's what I do. I mean, I wash my beard twice a day with it, and I have washed it 3 times in a day. And since we've got it, I haven't used anything but it. And like I say, it's cleaned well. It's never been drying. It's never felt stripped. Because if you think about it, you should be trying to protect your beard all the time. You know, it should be a cycle of protection. And there's no way to protect your beard if you're either over cleaning it or stripping it. You know, you're always trying to play catch up. You clean your beard. It takes off it takes away most of all the bad and the good. With the oil based, it's not taking all the natural sebum and everything. It's lifting the dirt and grime and stuff that needs to come off. So you're maintaining some of your natural oils that are still left over, even some of the beard oils that may be still left over, but the grime and the grit and the the little bit of maybe dead skin and stuff that you need to get off there. You know, I think the way I look at it, the health of your beard is just starting to shower anyway. So using the oil-based wash, I mean, you're starting in the mornings from scratch with already an oil-based product that's not over cleaning or even under cleaning your beard, as long as you're getting in there and massaging it down to the skin and using it as it should be, because it's a cleanser, so it's going to clean your skin and your beard. So
yeah, the skin is definitely the start. Like obviously you don't want nasties in the hairs themselves, but the start of a good beard, whether it's your size, my size, or Paul's size down to the belly button, it's the skin. If you don't have good skin underneath, it's not going to work well. So definitely getting down to the skin and you saying earlier with the biomimetic mimic.
Yeah, the biomimetic is, and that's the whole thing. Biomimetic
and helping the skin underneath, which other companies, the oils themselves, will do that. But yeah, definitely taking care of your skin first is It's weird to say take care of your skin and face, and your beard's going to grow better and feel better, but that's just the nature of it. You got to get the skin going well. Same thing with up here. Paul can't really say much because he's been bald since birth. But you take care of your hair up top, like your head on top, and your hair itself will grow and be nice and clean and everything like that. Same thing with the beard. So you just gotta, and it's weird to talk about because you grow as a guy, you grow up, you got to be manly and blah blah blah, and now it's just like, I got oil for here, and I'm cleaning this and that, and I'm like, go back to my high school days, I would have called myself a little bitch or something. Now I'm just like, it's a routine, and honestly, like if I didn't do all this, I wouldn't have like the long hair that I'm trying to grow out now. I wouldn't have the beard because it just I hate like every once in a while I'll use like a stripping and clean everything out, especially like during the summer doing stuff in the yard and at work being sweaty and dealing with all that stuff. I'll do a nice deep clean and I'll get out and it's just wiry and
Yeah.
nasty feeling. I'm like, I could not deal with this every day. Like some
Yeah.
people, I'm like, no. Throw some oil in it, and a couple hours later, I'm like, oh, this feels good.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah, you can't beat a good feeling beard. You know, after you get out of the shower and you throw, you know, you've used a good washer cleanser and you throw some oil in or a little bit of butter or balm or whatever you want. I
yeah,
mean, you know, after about 15, 20 minutes, you know, it starts. You can really feel the softness coming in. You feel the suppleness of the beard, and it's a great thing because a beard that's not taken care of, man. I mean, I know people can do it, and I've seen people, you know, man up and don't mind the dry beard and stuff, the crunchy beard, but I can't do it. I couldn't keep a beard on my face because my skin has hard enough trouble even when I'm really using the top tier ingredients, you know, non-cut. I still have, you know, flare ups and stuff, and I definitely couldn't do it without it.
yeah. Um, with the talks of what's coming next and the pumpkin talks earlier, do you do any like seasonal scents, kind of like a Halloween fall scent or anything like that, or you just kind of
We do a scent of the month, and that's based on the month and the season, of course. You know, so like right now we've got the 250th anniversary scent that we put out for July that is a three-parter. They each stands alone, and then or you can layer them together and get the true scent. We got that one. That was the the closest thing to really a seasonal. Um, so that would be, I guess, based on the month and time of year. That would be our seasonal. But yeah, I mean, I'm like I say, I've got, I don't know, just looking here. Let me look. I can tell you some stuff I'm working on right now. I can actually read off here for you real quick. That way, I can give you the whole kind of enchilada without giving away the whole shebang. But let's see. Here we go. New scents. Okay, so just giving you a sneak peek here. Like I was telling you, that one about the Southern Gin Fizz, it's gonna kind of emulate a gin and tonic. That's gonna be one that's gonna be in the next couple weeks. Um, Afterglow will be a modern amber woods. It'll be towards that fall. A black raspberry smoke, dark fruit and smoke. Uh, One called Midnight Social, which is a bourbon and vanilla. Of course, there's a lot more play in it, but that'll be the two main things there. Then Vanilla Fire, which is a toasted vanilla. Angel's Cut, which is a bourbon rickhouse, really like you're walking into a generational old rickhouse. Uh, but that's some of the stuff we're working on right now. So yeah, we're starting to go towards those more fall scents and like I say, there's more I'm working on, but I haven't ironed all those out. But yeah, I've got, you know, 5 or 6 sitting there, just kind of resting and rounding out over the next couple of weeks, and then once get towards the end of August, you know, those will start coming out, or maybe a little sooner, maybe mid-August.
nice. Yeah, I had the scent of the month pulled up and on the a tab and it completely spaced. So yeah, you have the 250th red, white, and blue. The red is Kentucky bourbon, pipe tobacco, leather, campfire, vetiver. White is birchwood oud, warm rustic woods, bourbon barrel, vanilla buttercream, cedar leather. And then the blue is cognac and Cubans, bourbon barrel, black currant, birchwood oud, and vanilla buttercream. Which honestly, they all sound fantastic.
And is that something you do every month? Is like a 3-pack, or sometimes just one scent of the month?
That's the only 3-pack we did because I could not stack every scent I wanted to get into one bottle.
Mm-hmm.
So I took it in layers, and I broke it up into individual scents that could be worn standalone or layered red, white, blue. You lay it right into the hand, maybe 1 or 2 squirts of each, 1 to 1 to 1,
Mm-hmm.
and then you get the actual scent that I was going for. But each one of them can be worn individually. Like I said, it's very cost effective when you look at it. You get 3 cents for the and or 1 cent, but it's still going to last a long time because it's just a 1 to 1 to 1 ratio if you want to layer it.
That's a very cool idea. I read through this scents earlier too, and I think all 3 of them sound fantastic. I didn't even think to put them all together.
Yeah, to blend them all. Yeah, I've done that in the past with different, like, I don't know, I have trouble kind of combining, say, like your scent with whoever's scent, but combining 2 or 3 of your scents, I've done it in the past, like, well, not yours, but done it in the past, and it's been a while, but just kind of mess around. But yeah, it completely didn't cross my mind to combine them all, which seems like it'd be a fairly complex little blend with all 3. Looking at it,
it's a beautiful blend. Santa Tom did a review of it here not too long ago on his new review channel, and he did it both ways. He loved it. He said all 3 stood very highly. He liked all 3 of them. I think he said he liked by itself. I think he liked the blue the best, I believe. But he said when put, I think he did 2 squirts of each in his beard, and he said it was just phenomenal. So for him, I hit the mark. So I'm happy. I mean, not a whole lot of people bought it because, like I say, you're still throwing out $60. So and I understand that not everybody can do that. So I mean, I knew I wouldn't move a lot of product, but of course we're a small batch and we mix small, so it's not like next year July I'll probably release this thing. I'll probably continue doing this one, the red, white, and blue every July.
Yeah, I think that's a good thought to bring that back every year because they all sound like great scents to me.
So we have our first caller with a guest. Paco, you there?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
I've been watching y'all for a long time. First time caller.
Thank you.
I love what y'all doing, man. This question's out there for Mr. Bryant. First of all, thank you for your service. Thank you. And second, when you're out there making that that beard oil, that concoction that you make, matter of fact, wonderful. By any chance, when you were testing it out yourself, did you get any rashes? And if you did, what kind of antidote did you use? Because I got one right now, and I don't think antibiotics could fix it at this point.
I tell you, the only thing with my skin, it's hard. My skin is different than 90% of the population, I think. So for me, I have to go to the doctor because my skin is so sensitive, and I can't get rid of it with over-the-counter stuff. So if I have problems, I have to go to the dermatologist. So for me, I can't tell you. All I can tell you is, you need to try to go non-codomogenic. Means you need to look at each individual ingredient, and then look at a codomogenic scale, and look at it. You want to try to stay 0 to 2, 3, but you want to try to stay 0 to 2, and that's going to give you the best opportunity to not have a rash. And it may not even be the ingredients; it may be the fragrance oil, or the EO.
Stephanie, I told you. I think you gave me something, girl. Hey, no, listen. I'm just joking with you. First of all, this is Raul, man. How you doing, Mr. Bryant?
This was the guy that took over our show 2 weeks ago, and when he first started talking, I was like, his voice sounds familiar, and I was going to call him out, but he decided to call himself out instead.
No. Listen, man. First of all, I was actually thinking about doing this because I was just looking at Paul the whole time, and I'll be honest. At this point, I'm a little scared of Paul, man. I mean, he has that face. I was like, man, I don't know if I should do this, but nah, man. Wonderful show, man. Again, and for reals, Mr. Bryant, thank you for your service. That does mean a lot, and I'm looking forward to actually purchasing some of your beard oil.
Yeah, definitely something to check out.
Yeah.
But the question is, even though you were joking, it's definitely something that that happens. We had a product. We kind of talked about it. I think it was like episode 5 or something, our first season. It was Viking Revolution. We were kind of we were supposed to get a packet. I don't remember who we were ordered from, and we were all supposed to get it. And I think all of us got delayed because of weather or something. So we had to quickly figure something out. And we went on Amazon. It all shipped that day. It showed up the next day, and all 3 of us had redness or some kind of rash or some kind of bumps. And after we did some research, we found out that it was some kind of basically a Chinese company, and it was complete trash. And it definitely happens. Oh
wow!
You can aware of that. You can definitely go the chemical side, like John was saying. But one of the other things that works great is just, like I said earlier, a stripping wash, a nice clean, just get everything out, and then throw some good oils that actually work, that work well for you. And that's how, like, I didn't have like crazy flare-ups. I did have some like spots and bumps and redness and itchiness. And after about 2, maybe 3 days of a wash and some really good oil, it went away. And it's like you said, like the fragrance blend or the EOs or whatever the fragrance that they use is probably some bullshit stuff that they pulled out of the gutter. And we say this is the only company that we've ever talked bad about. It's the only company that gave us a reason to talk bad about. We've mentioned that some scents don't work well with us, but seems like all the oils themselves have worked for us in one way or another. This was the only company that it was just terrible all the way through. And I've talked to other people, and they've tried it, and the same issues with them. So
this can actually really happen. Like, I mean, I'm sure it does because of the chemicals, right? I mean, but can you get like first degree burns or second? I mean, cause that stuff really happens when you're doing it. So, man, you really got to be careful with this.
Yeah, you can. Citrus oil. Okay, there's a phytotox, not phytotox, but anyway, basically certain citrus oils, if they're not produced a certain way, they can become toxic to your skin and produce burns in UV light. So if you go out, say with certain citrus oils in some of these products, if you go out in full sun, you can have a reaction. But there's a way for them to cut down on that. But like I say, it's more expensive. That's why we try in the small batch industry. Most of what we're buying is perfume grade oils or as clean of EOs as possible. I mean, EOs are the biggest thing you've got to watch out for on the citrus side, because it's just harder to work with EO. That's why most companies will use a combination of EO, FO meaning fragrance oils, EO meaning. So you've got the natural oils, and then the synthetics are man-made, and neither one of them are inherently bad. It's just how they're produced, how they're cleaned up, and then how they're utilized and what percentage they're utilized in the product. So there's a lot of things that we have to do. We have to look at what they call IFRA, and IFRA is the international standards for how much fragrance oil or EOs can go on your face, whether it stays on your face or it's washed off or it's in a cream. Or so there's international standards that protects us as long as we follow them. But the way we mitigate some of it is it's never one. Anybody can have a bad batch. Even the highest end company can have a bad batch of fragrance oil or essential oil. So I can't say that everything is always going to be the creme de la creme of everything, because companies make mistakes. So the way we've mitigated some of that is we use like Bisbola and some of this other stuff that stops here, that helps stop inflammation and irritation, and the 5-HT3. So we do everything we can to help protect your skin, to mitigate some of the factors that, some of the drying, because any kind of fragrance oil is drying. So the higher percentage you put in there to get, because our industry unfortunately is driven by scent first. A lot of people really don't care about it. When they first get in it, they're getting it for the scent. They're not getting in it for the health of the beard. That's they're looking at, I like this scent, I buy this scent. They're not thinking long term, 5, 10, 20 years down the road, what it's doing to your skin. So they may be buying, something with a 15% fragrance load that's really drying to your beard. So you need to really have a good oil blend that's going to be as good to your skin as possible, as protective as possible, to mitigate some of that drying and effects from those fragrance oils and EOs, especially in high percentage.
So I and I'm not going to take long because Jerry already got on to me about 3 hours. So
he doesn't want us. He doesn't want us taking over his.
Paul? First of all, Paul, how are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing fantastic.
Oh man, I miss you, buddy. I miss you. So here, and I got two more questions, and the second one I'm gonna ask it, and then I'll leave. But this next question, and maybe you talked about it and I just missed it, but what is your actual your testing process before you actually put it out to the consumer?
I'll wear it, and I have 4 or 5 customers with varying skin types and beards, from long beards, short beards, older skin, younger skin. So I have four or 5 testers plus myself, and I'll send it out, and they'll wear it and give me feedback and everything on the strength of the scent. Because the blends these blends are all the same now. I mean, it's mixed. The blends are healthy. It's just we got to watch out for the fragrance load, and does the scent blend make sense? Does it come across like it should? So yeah, I have myself and like I say, about 4 or 5 other testers with varying different types of skin and beard.
Gotcha. Okay, my last question, and I'm gonna leave. And before I leave, Jerry, Paul, I guess Adam couldn't make it today. Thank you for having me on. Keep doing what you're doing. Mr. Bryant, you keep doing what you're doing. I'm enjoying the conversation that you're having, but here's something for you to think about, and then I'm leaving. Pheromone oils. I'm just saying, man. I'm throwing it out there. I think it'll work. For the male to get out there. That alpha beard pheromone oil. Man, I'm saying, I think it could work. I think that's something that we could look at.
Yeah, we've messed around with some of that stuff.
Oh no way! Are you serious?
Yeah, we've messed with everything from terpenes to flavonoids, pheromones. I've played with a little bit of all of it. That hasn't made it into any of our rotations yet, simply because it's most of the what they call good workable pheromones are not very well received by men themselves. They don't smell very good normally, 9 times out of 10. It puts off to the women, and the women like it, but the men don't seem to like it too much normally.
Well, listen, man, we gotta. If you ever need a test subject, just let me know. Just give me a holler. I'll be more than happy to be that subject for you guys. Y'all have a good evening. I'm gonna go eat, guys.
Raul,
Jerry, thank you.
Raul, real quick
ahead.
before. Sean talked to Pops, and he said, "Quit trying to make your instinct beard look good and get on your chores."
Who said that?
Sean.
Dude,
from our buddies over at Smoking Sounds.
Yeah. So listen, a little bit of a story. Ever since Jason Dram Amateur, when I was on his podcast, there's a story about me and my dad, right? And ever since then, he is determined to get my ass beat by my dad. And my dad literally just says, for content I'll do it, but somebody's gonna pay me. And I'm like, Dad, man, nobody's gonna pay you. I said, well, I'm gonna get something out of it. I said, You know what? As a matter of fact, I'll just beat you down and I'll take your wallet. I was like, come on, guys, man. So, hey, guys, y'all have a good one, and y'all keep doing what y'all doing.
Thank you,
And
sir.
we'll see you, bud. We'll see y'all, guys.
Thanks for hopping
Yeah,
on.
have a
Take
good
it easy, bro.
Later.
Yeah, so that was our first call-in with a guest of this season and ever. That went pretty well. As soon as I heard that voice, I was like, "This motherfucker."
Yeah, Paco.
He seems to be a pretty good guy.
Nah,
Yeah.
he has his own show, the Smoking Text podcast show. He does a lot of cigar content, but he's also doing a lot of like he's had some music artists on. He's got a boxer coming on in a couple weeks. I don't know exactly when. It could be tomorrow, for all I know. I'll just get the notification on YouTube, like, oh, he's doing this, but he's got a boxer coming on soon. So he's not only a cigar podcast; he's doing a bunch of others in the community, which is awesome. Because, like I said earlier when we were offline, like you got to do something that makes yourself stand out from the thousands of other cigars and whiskey podcasts, and that's why we brought the beard in, because most people that drink whiskey and smoke cigars, there's a good portion of them having beards. So, why not bring him? But yeah, he's a great dude, and he might be stupid sometimes, but it's a funny way. Calling in saying he's Paco or whatever the hell his name was.
Oh yeah.
But let's see what else. We got anything else we talked about? Your scent profiles, your oils themselves, your products, what's coming up. Talk about your whiskey. Yeah, Paul, you got anything?
No, just if you, John, you want to plug your website and where people can find you and things like that. Get that out there one more time. I know you mentioned it as we've been talking.
Yeah, just the website Small Batch Beard Co. and that's just co.com. It's pretty easy. I mean, we're Small Batch Beard Co. I mean, called Americana by Small Batch Beard Co. We try to have something for everybody, depending on what your beard type and your, basically looked at it. Even though our scents are doing the Southern style scents, the beard blends are. We've tried to look internationally. Say that my beard oil can work as good in the far south as it would in a dry climate, as it would in even overseas in the desert. I mean, so we've looked at everything climate wise and pressure tested everything we could. And like I said, we've tried to leave no stone unturned. Where if you're in a situation where you need oil for your beard, I'm 99.9% sure we've got everybody covered. At that point, it's just scent driven. What you like, unscented, scented. At that point, it's just pick your path and move on.
Yeah, I'm just kind of looking over my notes, make sure we touched on everything. We hit a lot this episode. Your 1,000 scents that you got on there, the different products. That was one thing I wanted to touch on was you don't technically call it a beard oil, call it a beard and face oil, and then you got your liquid butter and what was the other? The architecture fluid, and then the heritage and the silver. We touched on all those. Is it anything else?
If you live in humidity, like just touching on the architecture fluid, if you live in a very humid area or a very dry area, the architecture fluid has humidity control, means it keeps it from fluffing out, expanding. So there's humidity control, there's extreme dryness protection, and then control. So, excuse me, and it's layerable on top of beard oil. You can lay it under the beard oil or on top of the beard oil. I've got one guy in Tennessee that he prefers to put the architectural fluid on first and then put the beard oil over it. So you can layer it any way, whatever is best for your skin, because everybody's different. Like I said, we've tried to make it where it's versatile enough for any and all conditions, any and all beards, any and all skin types. So, you can experiment with it to your heart's content. And the only thing I'd say, if you're going to use only one product, use beard oil. Beard oil is going to be your most universal product out there. The second product, I would say, even more than a liquid beard butter, would be your beard shampoo. If you're going to use a traditional shampoo, use it every day, not conditioning and not stripping, just everyday regular beard shampoo. And preferably, like for me, I've gone away from that and I'm using the oil base. So I think that's the two biggest things: is your beard oil first, and then your shampoo, and then look at your architectural fluid and your beard butters. If you think you need something at night, the beard butter is just richer and more emollient. It's going to give you a softer beard to wake up to in the next morning, because it's more for the beard. It's actually, it's made to make that beard just as soft and keep it hydrated as possible during the night, especially in the winter when you've got the heat on. That dry heat really dries your beard out. So it's kind of one of those things I say, at least in the winter, use liquid butter or a butter, some type of butter.
Yeah. And real quick before we sign out here, what you were in what branch of service were you in?
Oh, I was in the Army.
How long were you in?
Right at 4 years. Like I say, I got injured when I was over in Desert Storm and come back, and I was hobbling around, and I got out I got early out about 6 months prior to my end of service, and I went from there to working overseas doing the same job as a contract civilian. So I was EOD, which explosive ordnance disposal means it's like the bomb squad for the military. So I worked with explosives and chemical munitions. And
sounds fun and terrifying
at
the same time.
Yeah. But I basically did that the whole time from the time I got out to, for the government. In some form or fashion, I've been on the explosives, rockets, propellants, stuff like that until, like I say, 2017 when I got injured. And then now I'm partially housebound. So this right here is kind of not only something for me, it's something for me to do on a daily basis where I can, not go stir crazy as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I know me and Paul and Adam will be right here with you. Thank you for your service, and your brothers and sisters that are actively in and overseas, and the ones that have retired and been medically. Thank you guys. Without you guys, obviously, we wouldn't be doing this. And that is a big thing that we like to touch on, is military and veteran-owned companies. And I know there's some out there, whether they're whiskey, cigars, or beer products, that they try to fall on that coattail and ride it because they're military. You don't have it blasted all over your website like some companies do. Not saying it's a bad thing, but you don't have it blasted out there, which like I said earlier, we like to support you guys, since, like I said, if it wasn't for you guys, we wouldn't be able to do what we're doing now, and sitting down 3 different states, 4 if Adam was on here, and 5 if you talk with Paco or Raul or whatever he wants to call himself. We wouldn't be able to do it. So definitely want to say thanks to you and all your brothers and sisters that you were with and that will be going in and are going through basic now and all that good stuff. So definitely thank you to all of you guys. With that being said, if you guys don't have any last words, you guys anything else you want to throw out there, plug or anything?
No, the only other thing I've got to say is I let it slip. The main thing, if you're going to have good skin and good hair, hydrate.
Oh yeah.
Drink plenty of water. I mean, that right there is the biggest thing you can do. Drink water. It's going to help you. It's going to help you in everything.
It's sparkling water, seltzer water, regular water.
It's mostly water.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the only other thing I had to say. Other than that, man, just I appreciate y'all letting me come on, and
thanks for coming on. And it was a good time. Thanks for coming on. Definitely saw your product before we were talking, and like I said, it was so many scents. It kind of almost gets overwhelming looking. I'm like, oh, this one sounds great. No, this one sounds good. No, this one sounds good. And it's just like, all right, I got to take a step back and actually see what I want to try. But yeah, thank you for coming on. It was a great time. We're coming at about an hour 45, give or take, right now. So thanks for hopping on with us. I had a good time talking and learning more about your product. And definitely go check out smallbatchbeardco.com. That's smallbatchbeardco. That's CO. Instagram, Facebook. You on TikTok or anything like that, or just those?
Yeah, we're on pretty much all the social media stuff.
Go follow them on all their socials and whatnot, and do the same for us. Go. There's if you're watching on YouTube, there's all of our socials and a QR code. If you're listening, you'll have to just listen. If you're listening on Spotify, Apple, or whatever, you'll have to just go down to the description. But definitely go follow us. Go follow John over at all of his socials there. And